Now what you see here is one way of defining a function. But I'm going to comment out this approach here for the moment, because there also is an alternative. In JavaScript, you can also create so-called arrow functions, a syntax that's especially popular if you're dealing with anonymous functions, functions that don't need a name. For example, here in this React app I showed you in the first course section, you might remember that on the buttons we had this onClick attribute, and we used some React syntax to point at a function that should be executed when the button is clicked. And for that here, I used this arrow function syntax to define a function in the place where it's needed as a value for this click listener. And this is a so-called anonymous function because it doesn't carry any name. It's just the function code. Now, anonymous functions can also be defined with the function keyword. You can define functions like this, and for example, console log hello. And we could then, for example, export this as a default if we wanted to, and we would now be exporting a so-called anonymous function which doesn't carry any name. But if you are dealing with such anonymous functions, you can use the arrow function syntax as well, since this is a bit shorter. When using arrow functions, you omit the function keyword, you must not use it, and you instead just have your parameter list here, like for example, username and message. This doesn't change. Then you have this arrow, and then you have the curly braces, which contain the function body. You can also still use the return keyword here if you want to. And that's how you would define a function using this arrow function syntax. In this course, you'll see both kinds of functions, using the function keyword and using this arrow function notation. Ultimately, it is up to you which approach you prefer, but you should know about both.